Welcome to the Four Wards Podcast. Hey, what's up? It's Eric Bra, voice of Draven, Jerks, and Vel'Koz. And you're listening to the Four Wards Podcast, here to help you move forward in League.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back again this week. And hey, we're live on Twitch again. So you can start watching all our VODs on Twitch and YouTube as well. Starting right now. I am Haberdashing, and I am joined this week again by Quit Badgering Me Senpai.
I'll get used to it at some point.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Don't worry about it. Thallium in a coat and suit.
Yo.
And for now, we'll see. Just please leave something to the imagination.
I make no promises.
I think we're gonna get banned on Twitch.
That's probably not gonna happen.
That we're not gonna get banned, or that you're not gonna get naked.
I mean, yes.
Well, podcasts are an audio format anyway, so...
Right, I'm talking about the Twitch channel, though, that we're currently live on.
Yeah, we can make another
Right,
Twitch
I'll
channel.
keep my
That's fine.
pants on.
I can just take you off of the stream too. Nope, not the right one. Nope, not that
Two
one. either.
podcasts. That's how
There we
long it
go.
lasts.
That one. That's the one. Okay. I just have everything labeled a little different. All like the titles. Like I'm still me on here, but currently Thallium is Frostbite, and well, the rest of you two just don't have name tags on yours,
Sweet.
so you're just no one.
Yes.
Okay. So let's kick it off here.
Oh,
Not
also, I'm George P. Burrell.
I was about
by
to
the
say,
way.
Yeah.
you didn't introduce George.
I
So
started talking, so I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. Sorry,
That's fine.
George.
you did it
Nah,
right.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, not a whole lot of news stuff here this week. Once again, you can go on over to lootcrate.com and sign up for Loot Crate there. They got a lot of great stuff. I'm just pulling up the actual stuff for that right now. Yeah. I think it's too late to get in for September, but if you're wanting to get in for next month's Loot Crate, you can go to trylootcrate.com/TFN with the code BRIDGE10 for 10% off at checkout. It's a great deal. It helps the network a ton. Besides that, nothing really going on this week. We'll be looking forward to starting some more tournaments on a monthly basis in the coming future, so look forward to that. Yeah. Besides that, let's hop into stuff on Reddit. The one thing I actually want to talk about, and the one thing that we really could talk about here, minus one other thing, I suppose, because there's the new champion release too on the PBE.
Yeah.
You guys all saw that, right? One.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
kill things.
He doesn't. He's Johnny fucking Appleseed of the jungle, and he's the biggest. God, he
That's what it seems like.
He seems like the biggest like bullshit champion ever. In a lot of regards.
Yeah.
It's hard just for me to put him into context, like, because he's just so different than everyone else
Right?
that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you go into the jungle, you kill stuff, you come out, you murder me, because that's what junglers do. And occasionally they jump over dragon pits and smite things away from us. That's what I'm used to. But this guy's like, oh, I'm just gonna chill.
I swear I've looked at his kit
Hang
5
out.
times, and I still don't understand what he actually does.
He doesn't hurt any of the jungle camps.
Yeah.
Like, he just says, hey, you guys are free. I'm going to come back a little later, check up on you. Maybe get 2 blue buffs and shit like that.
Buffs for everybody. Just you get a buff and you get a buff.
But he-
Everybody
like,
gets a buff.
He has the biggest, like, he also has, like, his Q is the biggest, like, he can give everyone Lee Syndrome on your team.
Yes. Yes, he can.
Like,
I'm excited
Jesus
for it.
Christ.
Yeah. I mean, I do love Lee Syndrome. But did you see the video that Ponophobia linked where it was in the Discord? I'm not sure if he put it up on Twitter, but he was yelling about it, how Ivern could clear 3 camps, get level 3, and have full health at like 236.
Yeah. 55 or 56
Yep.
seconds or whatever
Less
it
than
is.
a minute
That's-
after
you can
everything spawns.
Do
It was
half a clear, half full
bonkers.
health, doubles, and still be in a prime position to gank or invade, which I don't understand how. Which I don't understand how that would work, since he actually doesn't hurt.
You just gotta hope
jungle
like no
camps?
one goes to that
Uh,
jungle camp for a while.
I would think he'd have to show up, plan his bullshit, and then smite immediately, clear the whole camp, and then just leave. Like I don't think he could throw his groves
I don't know.
everywhere. I think
That's
that-
right, because when he smites it, doesn't it clear it immediately?
But
Yeah,
it has
so-
to set up though, doesn't it?
Oh.
Like for the
Not
Yeah.
if he
20
smites it.
second
It takes
time.
like you put it there. It takes a little time to grow. But if, according to the video that I watched, where started Gromp, planted his thing, ran the blue buff, planted his thing, ran down to red buff, threw his shit down, smited, cleared it, ran back, cleared blue, cleared Gromp, went top, 236, level 3, full
Mhm.
health mana.
Yeah, everything about like don't even get me started on the fact that he can create fog of war brushes wherever he wants.
Like it's so far devoid from like everything I'm accustomed to that it's really hard for me to like imagine what he's going to be like until he gets into the game.
Yeah.
And
And then I'm gonna be like, this is the most bullshit champion ever. Needs to be nerfed or removed from the game immediately. Or this is the most useless champ ever. I've stopped caring.
Either way,
Yeah.
they
Or
should just
both.
remove him from the game
Probably
and just
both.
turn him into another jungle camp.
Yes, that's exactly what we need. Is another jungle camp.
Yeah.
Because we only have like 3 on each side in each quadrant of the jungle, and Scuttles, and
Yeah.
Baron Junior and / Baron and Dragon and all this other stuff.
You can
Plus
make him
you
like
have,
a
like-
roaming
it's-
jungle camp though.
Yeah, it's just gonna move
Uh.
through mid lane from like the single bush to the single bush.
nah,
because-
it's a jungle camp that will take your jungle camps and free them if you don't.
What the fuck?
that would actually be like a legit
Oh yeah.
thing to think about. That would be actually kind of cool
So you using
if
these?
that was
No.
a thing.
I'll take them.
There goes what's going.
I'm just gonna take these jungle camps right here. I imagine that's how he talks. By the way, he was walking in that video. He does.
His walk though.
He's got a pretty nice walk.
It's the new swag walk. Well,
It is. It's no. Heimerdinger might still have it.
if you / taunt,
I'd have to
For the
watch
first
him
time.
like. I'd have to watch them like side by side, like on a runway or something like that, to know for
I don't know.
sure.
New Rise Run is up there.
Yeah.
Use Rise Run is pretty cool.
Okay.
I will admit.
So that
Trying to put it like in my head, he's now like some Hanna-Barbera cartoon, like Yogi the Bear.
pretty much.
I'm here for the picnic baskets, but like I can't. I feel like there's a better analogy, but I can't find it. Brain.
I think that's good enough, honestly.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear, but he's like more whimsical and kind of not like Roadrunner-ish, but he's not like the frog either. But he's got like the walk like the frog does
Yeah.
when he's doing the whole. What's the name of that frog? Anybody?
Oh, shoot.
No. I know it's.
No idea.
I'm
it's-
too
it's
young
gonna
for
bug
this.
me.
Are you gonna Google
I
it?
can picture it, but I can't.
Tabber, are you gonna Google it real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah. I know. Michael
Okay,
J.
so-
Frog. God damn it. No, Michigan J. Frog.
Michigan J Frog. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
So glad I'm good at keeping us on topic.
See that should just be his dance then. Like he's got the perfect like build for that too.
Yep.
Just comes into mid
All right,
lane,
Riot.
doesn't gank.
Don't let us down.
Yeah.
They
Hello,
already
my
did.
baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, my darling.
Hello, my rectangle.
That's exactly what was in my brain.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same brainwave right now.
Right.
You said
all
say,
right.
yeah, that
Synergy.
frog.
It took 1.25 episodes, and now we're all the same.
Right? We're there, yeah. We
Yeah.
said to talk about some dumb fucking frog to get there. Okay, so the one thing I
Oh,
wanted to
God.
talk about that was big news this week was the Star Guardian skins. Like I am like halfway between being amazed at these skins and just like what the fuck is going on? Because like now there's this whole new like canonical lore for the Star Guardians, and outside of everything else in League of Legends, where we're now in Japanese anime.
Pretty much. That's where we've teleported
like
to. We've
fucking-
gone from.
It's a ripoff of Madoka Magica, just put onto Summoner's Rift.
There's
Sounds about
only
right.
there's
thought it-
only one explanation for how much work they put into this.
Hmm.
New game.
New game? What? It's just gonna be like a Persona game.
Oh yeah.
Riot
Except-
Games.
except
they
Star
are
Guardian-
Riot Games now, so.
They've
Or
been
anime.
Riot Games.
Well, they've been Riot Games, but they're officially Riot Games now.
Ah.
Since
so,
they released the mechs and minions.
Gotcha. Well, like they had like those little like arcade games before too,
Cho'Gath eats the world.
right?
Yep.
In League
Ah,
of Legends,
Yeah,
it.
that
but the
I
whole
could not
Star
get that
Guardian
website to
thing.
open.
No, like
I tried 3
um,
times.
I'll try copying it again here, because like
Serious
it does
shit.
not open on Chrome for the life of me.
I don't know.
Just-
I got it to work on Chrome.
It
I got
just
it to
takes a
work
giant
once.
shit on my browser. It did the same thing with the Ivern launch page.
See,
was-
I think they're putting too much into this.
Right?
To be honest.
It's like,
like-
all these pages now are just filled with so much shit that you don't even care about. I don't need
Right,
the background
like-
to move.
Oh yeah, Jana's a 4th-year student at this school.
Like,
Who
hey, no.
cares?
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. No, that's very
Oh,
important.
okay. I'm thinking they're putting like too much. I mean, I like that they're putting lore on the skins, but they're putting a
needed
little
to
too much
know-
into the Star
I
Guardian
needed to
stuff.
know for the longest time what their blood type was.
Yes.
Is that on there?
I needed to know that.
Yes.
Yes, their blood type
Yes.
is on there.
Right.
Like, yeah, I think I read on Reddit or something that's some Japanese thing. It matters, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know that kind of stuff. I mean,
Okay, now it's not even
Thallium,
opening.
what's your blood type?
Be positive.
Okay. Now I know.
It's a motto and a blood
Okay.
type.
You have to share yours too. That's not how this works.
I don't even know what mine is.
You just never went into like the Red Cross
See-
or something.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
let me make some noise real quick and pull my donation card out of my wallet. Oh gosh. This,
The real question, though, is this way we can put Thallium and match him to a Star Guardian.
It's true. What would that? I don't know if any of them were actually B
Which
positive.
one is B plus?
I'm B positive as well. Okay.
Oh.
That's what
No
I thought,
kidding.
but I wanted to be 100% sure.
George, are
We're
you
the
at
same
least O?
person.
I have no idea.
God damn it! Like, I'm supposed to be the most common blood type, and none of you fuckers are O positive. The good news is I can donate to all of you guys if you need it.
Thanks, man. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Not that
I'll
I
try
would.
and not make that necessary.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can't even get it to load on Firefox anymore.
But yeah, like so basically if you can't get it to
Oh
load
wait!
all
Oh shit! Damn it! Oh, it's starting to load and I closed out. Fuck you,
Well,
right?
it's
I'll sum
funny
it up.
watching your video because every once in a while it like chunks. So that must
Yeah,
have
it's
been
like
you're
when
trying
I'm
to open
opening
this
it up.
webpage.
It just takes
No,
a
but,
massive dump on my computer.
Basically the story behind it is like Lux, Jinx, Poppy, and Lulu were like a Star Guardian team or whatever it was, and Janna led a team of older students, but then for some reason they don't go into it. It's like 3 sentences. It's basically
Well, like,
as consistent as
They
Riot
said like
lore
on
is.
the opening page, like yeah, being a Star Guardian's great, but it also means you lead a tragically short life. That's
Oh.
like they put that on the opening page. It's like yeah,
Gotta play the tiny violin now, because you know
you're gonna die.
you're gonna die.
So for some reason, Janna didn't. I guess.
She pushed everybody else in
Alien.
front of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I could see. I mean,
Is
she
this
like
basically
monsooned,
Some
but
sort of
it was a
fan
bad
fiction
monsoon.
that they turned
Yeah.
into
It-
skins.
It seems like it. Yeah.
I would not
Okay.
be surprised.
Okay.
So that's about that. That's that for right now. I really love the Jinx one.
They are
The Jinx
very
one
good
looks
skins,
really
though.
cool.
Jinx actually has a line in hers about not having Star Guardian Urgot.
She does.
Yeah,
Oh.
she does. She
I heard about
actually has
that.
a line in her VO
Oh shit!
about no Star Guardian Urgot or something like that.
No way.
Shots.
But yeah,
fired.
you have to look it up. I can't remember exactly what she
Oh.
says, but that's one of the things is she mentions it directly because Reddit wanted like Urgot, Tarek, Garen, whatever it was. So
Urgot was the big one, though.
Urgot would have been amazing.
The least
I would have paid for a Star Guardian Urgot.
Mm-hmm.
I would have
Yeah.
considered it. As it is, I don't know if I'm actually going to get any of these skins. Maybe Jinx.
I am
The
not.
Jinx one, I
Can't.
think, is legendary, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
1820.
Well, like
Mhm.
I have 2 good Lulu skins, even though I don't play her much anymore. I don't play
Mhm.
Janna. I have the Lux skin already. I don't play Poppy. Although what's weird to me about this set is they're like, how do you make Team Scar Guardian? Who's the jungler?
Poppy.
Poppy. Yeah.
All right, then
I
who's
guess
top?
so. Obviously, Janna.
AD Janna.
Or Lulu.
I
Probably
mean, I guess it could
Lulu.
be Lulu and Lux, and then Janna.
Yeah.
Or-
Sounds like a
Yeah.
terrible team, but
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's not bad.
Pretty.
Like it's like besides the
Pretty
Poppy
bad.
jungle, everything else works pretty well.
Oh look, blue buff can't dash to me now.
Or exactly. You're not thinking about that.
yes, because blue buff does so much dashing.
Mm-hmm. Gotta block it.
Well, I mean, like that Rift Scuttler like can't move a fucking inch. So you got that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
I can.
Don't trash it till you try it. You can knock Baron into the enemy base. How have you never wanted to do that before?
Speaking
I
of
think
which,
that's
did
how
you
that
hear about
works.
the singed bug?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
The reason he's disabled is that they made a quality of life update, so his poison damage is supposed to tick faster now, but do the same damage. Something happened, and he was able to solo Baron at about 4 seconds
Huh.
Yeah.
because of an increased tick rate. We don't know exactly what, but
No one knows exactly. That's fucking what happens with Riot's code.
Mom's
Well, it's probably
spaghetti
just
code.
coded the damage to monsters differently than damage to champions and damage to minions,
Maybe.
and didn't change the damage per tick on monsters.
Whoops.
That was
Yeah.
the hypothesis that someone put forth, probably in Discord, because people talk in Discord a lot.
yep, that's
Okay.
why Singe is banned. If you were curious,
Oh darn. Whatever are we gonna do?
Move on, I guess. Speaking of
Speaking of-
Singed.
I was supposed to say, speaking of moving on,
Well, this works out either way.
50-50.
Yeah. Our correspondent piece this week is from the old man, new guy to the team, and we're going to be talking about team synergy, so I'll let him take it away. And this is the part where if you're actually listening to the podcast, you'd be listening to that. But anyways, let's start it back up here talking about that. So picking it up from where he left off, you said teamwork starts really at the beginning of Champ Select, and I mean that's a big thing. And I know we have a question later on about that as well. But what can you really do in Champion Select to promote synergy in your team?
Well, I think the big thing is how you play your draft. Because if you're picking a triple melee with a Lucian composition with no wave clear, you're going to get sieged up for days, and if you fall behind at all, you're going to get destroyed. But it goes beyond the way you pick as well. I mean, generally speaking, I don't know how much you guys experience it in solo queue, but a lot of times I have people asking, like, oh, I'm a mid player, but I got plays jungle. Can I mid and you can jungle? Or something like that. And I'm not saying that's really synergy oriented, but it's kind of figuring out like what everybody's going to do at the beginning of the game before the
Right.
snowball gets going and you start picking stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that's one good way to do it.
from what I've seen, the past 5 times I've seen somebody ask, they've gotten it. Like
I've done it
it's
twice. I
not
did it twice
uncommon.
today.
Okay. Yeah, and that's I think the most important part of it really comes down to champion selection, though.
Mhm.
Either just through natural synergy in the team, or or something else. Like I'm blanking
Well,
out here, but
I'd say for champion select, put yourself in the best position to win, because that's in the end what your team wants to do.
Yep.
If you feel like playing that AD Lucian with 3 tanks, if you know deep down that you can win that game, go ahead and pick it. But the trick there is to be honest with yourself about whether or not you can.
mm-hmm.
Just look at the team and ask yourself, what gives us the best chance of winning? That's going to change from player to player, but
Yeah, I mean, like bottom lane, especially when if you're not picking at the same time, you can really sort of see what's going to work best for that bottom lane composition. Because like obviously there's bottom lane combos that go better together than others, as far as like how you want to play the lane.
yep.
So like
I-
if what's one of your favorite combos in the bot lane here, Nick Badger?
I'd say, I guess, kind of a couple would be like Lucian Braum, because you can get the passive really well,
Always
or
a
like
classic.
Jhin Morgana, because the binding that if you're playing with a Morgana and she lands one of those bindings that gives enough time to have somebody eat a sandwich, and you miss Deadly Flourish on top of it at the end of that, you should probably stop playing Jhin. I'm gonna be nice about it,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
There's
they're
no
just
easier way
they're
to set
sitting
that up.
right there. They're just like they're in the prime position for it. But just basically anything that's really aggressive with like a Draven, that you can go early and abuse the power that he has from his 1 through pretty much 1 through 4, and then anything that works really well at 6
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ash Leona,
Ash Leona's really good.
their level 6 is incredible.
I'll throw out something else that's not bottom lane.
Okay.
Jace Nidalee.
Yeah.
Nidalee in the jungle, Jace mid lane.
I was about to ask, what are some of your guys' mid
setting
jungle
up for
combos?
Yep.
a poke comp for sure.
I was going to say, as far as champ select synergies, you don't want to try to pick something that's cross purposes. Like the things that come to mind are champions that want to like all in wombo combo, and then you have someone like Janna, where Amumu hits the bandage and flies in with the ult, and then Janna ults for reasons, and like, oh, there, you saved them, thanks. Or something like I played a game a couple of years ago. At this point, and we were in comms, and our jungler managed to. I don't know why we drafted this, since we were in comms, but he managed to do the perfect insect where he like horde hopped, flash kicked their AD carry right into us. But we were playing like Caitlyn and some like Caitlyn Ziggs or something like very. I don't want to fight. I want to poke, and I want to stay very far away from you. And now this AD carry is flying at us, and then you died, and then we died, and then we lost the game. So those are champions that really want to do diametrically opposed things. Like, if you all want to all in, great. You can pick champions that all in. Or if you want to like stay back and poke and disengage, that's great. If you have half the team wants to do one of those things and the other half the team really doesn't want to do that thing, that's something I would try to avoid in Champ Select.
Yeah, like it's good to not have people that are like totally opposed in what they're doing, but I don't think it's realistic to have a champ select where you're all going for the same thing. Like even the more common team compositions right now are either like a pick comp or just some high mobility comp.
Or like Gnar Engage.
Yeah. Even then, like it's okay to have some champions that differ a little in what they're doing. You're not going to get all 5 people that really work
like,
together in that comp.
Some diversity is fine and even
Right.
good.
And at some point, if you pick two champs that do the exact same thing, and you can't do it because of team comp or whatever, or being behind, then that's just putting yourself in a worse situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So one of the big terms that comes up here on this podcast is the mid lane shuffle, which happens around like 15, 20 minutes, where no one knows what to do, so they just come mid and just go back and forth, ARAM style, till the turret goes down. There's a lot of things to be said in this, and we've said a lot of it before on the podcast. But bottom line, that's not a very helpful strategy to do. So it's important to look at your team composition and decide how you can avoid it, or what's going to be your best plan of action at that phase in the game, depending on the champions on your team.
No. And sometimes it is good, like if you're running a straight poke comp, like you can, but that almost never happens. And in Sudoku, you really aren't coordinated enough to take advantage of it, really.
Oh shit, he's taking off his tie.
I was waiting for somebody else to say it because I didn't want to bring it up.
How long until we have to turn the stream off?
Like, just give us a timer.
It's been a very long day.
I don't doubt that. I'm just saying, how longer do we have? How much longer do we have?
I'm probably pretty comfortable for the rest of the podcast.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm accepting tips. I can change my mind.
It's okay if you want to take your shirt off, you know.
Was it patreon.com/T-Force Network?
Yeah, you can make a striptease video for our Patreon.
What package is this that we're talking about?
His package.
But
you set me up for that one.
I did. I know I did.
Synergy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for that piece. So, why don't we head into some questions here? Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, first question here from Charles. As a jungler, what should I do? And another one. What should I do if I get a lane or multiple lanes ahead early on, but then those players can't turn that into an advantage for the team? Examples such as they only split push and get caught, they get cocky and try to take on fights they can't win, or they just lose lane after I got them ahead. I just played a game in where 3 of the players on my team were playing very difficult champions, Ryze, Talia, and Bard, but it was their first time playing those champions, so their mechanics weren't good enough. This made me wonder about this, especially since I don't generally play hard to carry junglers. Yeah, I think that's the gist of that question.
Yep.
Another jungler question. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I don't mean to bash the letter writer all. This seems like this was almost therapy for him, in which he was like mad about a game, so he wrote to us.
Right.
Because like, I mean, honestly, I don't know what you can't make people not make mistakes. You don't get to control them. You just try to give them the resources, then it's up to them. You can try to shot call and say, hey, let's group and then take top, or let's group and take mid, then back off the dragon, and they'll either listen to you or they won't.
And even past that, it's good to remember that you aren't going to win every game. You just aren't.
True.
Yep.
So
but at the same time,
sometimes
like,
you will run into something like this.
Yeah, but
sometimes you're gonna lose games that you personally deserve to win, and then you're gonna win games that you definitely don't deserve to win. Like, who hasn't been carried in the last week?
I mean, like,
how
true.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, also the amount of times where it happens where all 3 of your lanes are feeding is relatively low as well. But I think if you're in that situation where none of your lanes are doing well, you kind of have to figure out which lane has either the highest chance of success or the lane that's going to carry you most later on in the game, and then just babysit the fuck out of them.
Now, I do want to say here, he seems to be asking about getting lanes ahead and then protecting them.
Uh-huh.
And if that's what you're trying to do, there's basically 2 things you can do. Ward up and counter gank. Like
That's
that's
it.
basically your job as a jungler once your lanes are ahead. If you're doing that, then there's nothing else you actually can do.
Uh-huh.
Well, once this, we'll call it the mid lane shuffle starts coming around. Unless you're, for some reason, on your jungler, all your teams wave clear, you still have the freedom as a jungler to go clear camps, get scuttles and ward up and get vision control for neutral objectives that are coming up, dragons, barons, all that stuff, even buffs if you want to contest them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still, once this mid-game point happens, you're not so much, you can group with a team as long as you can get there in a situation just in case they get engaged on. So one of the things you can do is you can, like I'm saying, go get your buffs, go pass buffs, go get vision. Just play like a jungler would in that like 2-minute to 12-minute period, but you can put more of an emphasis on being ready to be with the team just in case shit hits the fan. So,
I mean, a lot of people think Vision is the support's primary role, but I'd argue at this point during this season, Jungle has it at least as much, if not more, because you have Scuttle now, and not only do you have Scuttle, you have the Raptors. You can take yours. You can take the enemies to keep them from having it. If you want, you have Green Smite.
Right.
There's, and again, in addition to that, you're going everywhere on the map. The support is confined to be around their teammates a little bit more. If you are trying to protect a lead, get vision and try to protect it.
Yeah.
much.
That sounds about good. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but once again, our next question is a jungle question.
Okay.
So let's hit it up.
Don't they
Let's do
realize
it.
Proper has like a ton of junglers?
True.
Yeah. Ask proper.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll take your questions anyways, but
All right. So Jeff, hey guys, it's Vincent Aron, writing in again with a quick question on Jungle Cho'Gath. I've been doing a fair amount of research and I can't find a solid answer on whether it is a good idea to build Rod of Ages on Jungle Cho'Gath. I know it's a common core item on him for top and mid and would synergize really well with the Cinder Hulk, but it's such an expensive item and it takes so long to stack that often when I've built it, the game is well into mid game. By the time I've built Trackers, Stalkers, Mercs, or Ninja Tabby and finished Roa, it seems like the build path doesn't lend itself very well to jungle. Maybe I'm building it wrong. Should I just rush Catalyst before finishing the Smite'em? Yeah.
yeah.
She's
I mean-
overthinking this. It's a bad item for jungle. You finish it too late.
Well, I mean, you have the option, I think if you're doing fairly well. No, just give me a sec, okay? Like, say it's... If you get ahead early, you get a kill in a lane, you go back and you start just working right on to Roa instead of finishing your Smite'em. If you finish the Roa first and then go back to doing your Smite'em, I think you can. But other than that, it's not worth it.
He says he's going Cinder Hulk here.
Yeah.
You can sit on. Well, I guess my questions to this, and feel free to get back with us on this one when you take a listen to it. How is the? Guess I'm gonna have to ask you three right in front of me. How fast is the Cho'Gath jungle clear?
It's
anybody
actually
know?
Pretty
It's
quick.
actually reasonable. Yeah,
Okay,
you can
so it's
clear
pretty
it with a QW.
So you can
Oh,
play
plus
like
it's
an
4 pulse
herbivore
spikes.
style Shogath till you get 6, and
Mhm.
then so I guess
Plus
one of
the,
the things you can
We
do
have
in
a
this
really
situation.
good gank potential as Cho'Gath, to be fair.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you have to have follow up because rupture is not really the easiest thing in the world to land.
But it
But
slows afterwards. It's a
but
knock up
slows.
and a slow.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's one that's like one of those picks that's like it's really good if you have the initiation CC.
Uh-huh.
Like it's really good follow up, but you can't open with a rupture. So, I guess for build wise, you could probably get away with I don't know. Maybe just sit on basic like trackers, and
Uh-huh.
if you need to, build the bombies. But how much on top of that is? It's like another 400 gold for Cinder
the
at that
upgrade.
point, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, trackers is 1,000, and then the full item is 2,600. Row is
So, yeah.
2,700 plus.
So it's like an
another
extra
1,000.
500. So at that point, you might as well just go like and this is something that you can experiment with, because we really don't have jungle experience playing Cho'Gath building Roa, but in a hypothetical situation, try building, just go trackers, stalkers, whatever smite, enchantment you're gonna go, and then save the bombies for after you finish your Roa. I mean, 2,800 gold's not going to come that really quickly to you,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. You guys got anything
Okay.
to add to this?
So-
I guess?
I'll point out that on the subreddit less than an hour ago, Raj's off metal jungle champion of the week was Cho'Gath.
Hey.
Does not mention Roa at all.
Okay, so
Um,
I'm gonna go here and say why I think Roa is a terrible item in the jungle, and like I do see your points, but okay, so out of curiosity, how long do you all see your games lasting right now, roughly?
Us?
Yeah.
Like, if it gets to 30 minutes, then it goes to like 45 minutes for me.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay, and then how frequently is the game decided before that point?
if it's going to end by 25 minutes, it's probably decided by like 12. So,
Yeah. Like, so my thing is, if you're building a Roa, you want it fully stacked by 25 minutes. Because that's when either all the things that matter would have been done before then, or that's when you can do the most to start building for the late game. Because if it starts stacking at 20 minutes, you won't have a full row until 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, the
To
people
build it-
who
Yeah.
buy Roa in mid lane, this is my thoughts on the matter to see if George agrees with me. The people who buy Roa in mid lane, they're aiming for the late game. They want the catalyst, which will give them some health and mana that lets them stay in lane and farm
Mhm.
forever, basically. And then they'll get the Roa, and then they'll just keep farming while it stacks. They want the laning phase to last as long as possible, and they want to be able to sustain and stay in lane. Cho'Gath doesn't really have that problem in the
Right.
jungle.
the reason Shogath loves Roa is because it gives health,
Health and
mana, and AP. There's another item that builds out a catalyst that gives health, mana, and AP. It also has a slow on it. I'd say if you're jungling, it's also cheaper, I think. It might not be, but if it is,
Are you
it's
talking about
certainly...
Righteous?
No. It's
Oh.
the Hextech thing that they just
The
added.
proto belt.
Oh, yeah.
Not the proto belt, the other one, the icy
Oh,
one.
GLP.
Yeah,
GLP.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
if you really want the health and mana that it gives you, you can get it at a much cheaper price with added CC on, with the set, and it'll be efficient the moment you buy it, and you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
I have another one, just a quick one. Instead of going Cinder, you can go Runic and then go Tank afterwards, kind of like how Gragas players were going for a while there.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that would be the better alternative for it, because you'll hit Runic and Bombies if you're going to go Sunfire Cape or whatever tank item you go first quicker than you would probably hit Roa Cinder and get that stacking. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm-
It's
Yeah, I mean,
it's an
it's
interesting
just-
one.
It just, for me, the mids I see build it at an average level probably finish it around 14 minutes,
Okay.
give or take. Give or
Yeah,
take like 2 or
give or
3,
take.
depending on kills or deaths.
And that's the
Uh,
first thing they get.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't have to
That's-
buy jungle enchant. So if you're buying the other stuff, you can do it, but you're probably going to be finishing it around 18 minutes, which is pushing it in terms of getting it stacked for it to matter.
Oh, I think we got our answer then.
I think we got our answer.
Okay. So this one's a bit of a long one. I'm going to try to summarize it for you guys here. So start out. Dan H writes in saying, "Hi guys, love the show. Been listening since just before the Supersode, and I was wondering if I could get some assistance in unfucking an aspect of my gameplay that I feel is holding me back. Specifically, my brain shuts down whenever team fights break out. Call it task saturation, information overload, tunneling, yada yada yada. But when all the things happen, my critical thinking and processing skills just pack their shit and move out. Worst case for me, I just brain freeze and die. I just freeze and die, sorry. Best case, I lock myself into a pre-rehearsed sequence of events, and any disruption to that sequence will cause me to freeze and die. This is quite frustrating for me because I mid AD carry in mid. Yeah.
Guy after my heart.
Yeah. So I guess the TLDR is, do you have any pointers or advice into how I can keep my cool and process information in the heat of the moment for team fights?
If you think, you die. Like,
Pretty much.
in an average team fight, you won't have time to think. You'll have time to react if you're looking out for something, but you won't have time to think, hey, I have to do this, I have to do this. If you really want to get good at team fighting, and that's like, I am terrible in lane. The reason I got to where I am is because I put all of my learning towards team fighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to be good at team fighting, the key is just to do it enough that you recognize immediately without thinking what you can do.
Right, and I think you can do that inside of the game as well to some extent. Because it's not like team fights are just happening back to back to back to back to back. You have time between them to process what's going to happen, where you can analyze what's going on your team, the enemy team, what you think could possibly happen. Like saying, okay, they have Morgana, or they have like a Thresh or something like that that's going to try to start the fight for them with a hook. So you need to be looking out for that and decide, what am I going to do if that happens? Or what am I going to do if I get Malzahar ulted, or someone on a team gets Malzahar ulted? How am I going to counter that? And while you're thinking that way, you're just doing mundane stuff like just farming creeps or setting up wards and things like that. It's just preparing for the next team fight in your head. Mm-hmm. So you're not thinking about it when you actually get to the team fight. You're reacting to it in a way that you already set out to.
Don't try to problem solve during the team fight. Problem solve before it and have the solution ready.
Right.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Just think of what your, have goals in your team fight of what you want to do. Main one is stay alive. That's the first one, because you can't deal damage when you're dead. So, stay alive. Right. Think of, all right, so if they're going to dive you, hit the front line. If you're going to position to, it just all comes down to heat of the moment. You got to, there's a little bit of thinking involved with it. If you see that you can safely hit the carries as a mid or an AD carry, do it. Just pressure them, put damage down on them. It might force them to back off a little bit, and then that opens up the front line, which is in your face. And I mean, don't walk past the front line to hit the back line, but just hit the closest target to you that is available to safely put damage down onto in that moment itself, and then assess the situation from there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say ARMs sometimes help a lot, because it's all team fighting all the time, so you can at least, they pointed out, plan ahead. Okay, so this fight's gonna start when Morgana hits a binding, or when Rengar decides to go ham for no apparent reason. That's some practice that just gets you in the moment. It's not a great because like the team comps are of course often ridiculous, but it's an idea to just practice the heat of the moment. Another thing you do, I think, find a friend who loves to shot call in particular, because some things that my fives team is trying to get better at all the time is making calls in the middle of the fight, or at least someone shouting so we can concentrate. Like, oh, so and so's alting. Oh, that person's out of position. Oh, just pick something, because like every time, if you go back to the plays, there are team fights where everyone's completely silent, and it usually goes really, really badly. But if someone is talking, at least, that might be worthwhile.
It really does improve play a lot when you have someone just telling someone what to do. Having like a common unified goal for a team can just be like the one thing that turns it around in team fights. Like if you have that, that's great. If you don't, like even just playing like with one more person in the solo queue can be enough. Or it's like once two people start doing it, it's a lot easier to get the rest of the team behind it as well.
And
or shout at your friend, saying,
True.
"Hit this person! Malfight, 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 Malfight."
That's pretty much all it comes down to.
I would also say, if you want to learn to team fight or skirmish in a high intensity situation, try Earth. It's going to be a lot faster than what you're used to, and it won't actually translate in terms of timings. But if you want to try and learning how to identify stuff and stay away from ranges and stuff in the middle of hectic stuff, Earth would actually do that.
I guess so, yeah.
I like what you were mentioning earlier about playing ARAMs for team fighting, because I mean, there's a couple of situations where it's not a good learning tool, but when you're in these like straight up like 5v5 mid-game fights, I would say it's actually underrated, kind of, as to the thinking process behind it. You don't want to go off of that the entire time, but that's a good way to get you to think quickly, because one of the things that I notice, and I don't know about how everybody else feels, but I kind of feel like in team fights, I don't feel like the heat of the moment thing. I feel like it kind of slows down, actually, and gives me, and I actually have time to think. Like, it's not as quick as everyone says, and I don't know if that's just because
it really depends. Like, I think people when they first start in this game, have a tendency to really tunnel vision and really focus just what they're doing in a team fight. And I mean, like, in that, also like in a literal sense, like they're just looking at their own character. Like sometimes in team fights, like I can just like feel myself almost space out, not looking at like any one particular thing, but trying to take a broad look at everything that's going on. So what the fuck was I saying?
Yeah.
And I can kind of see what Badger's point, where I feel like I've gotten there a couple of times. Although I've also had plenty of team fights where it just ends, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck just happened.
And
I think we won, but I couldn't tell you what actually happened in the last 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And
but everyone's dead now.
To be fair, that probably varies from player to player. Like me, for example, I play the game on autopilot, and then every 6 minutes or so, I have this ray of light shining down that tells me what to do. The perfect moment, and then I just do that. Other people don't. Other people have different ways of playing. If you know how you play, you could probably find someone that plays the same way you do, and figure out how they deal with it. I mean, League's a very varying game in that regards.
Well, I feel like your mental state going into it, and like how tired you are, how irritated you are, how whatever is going on in your life will affect that, because like there are days where you're just on point, and then there are days where you're like that support accidentally stole my CS, and now I see red, and now it's 35 minutes in, and we're down 27 kills, and I really have no idea what happened. And then everything kind of slows down days where it varies. Like, if it varies within you, that is normal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd actually say, if you're interested in all that stuff he was talking about, lack of sleep and stuff, check out Weldon Green's channel. He puts out a lot of very interesting stuff in terms
Yeah,
of
that's a good one to talk
the
about.
psychology of
network.
consistency.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, he included a couple other mini questions, so why don't we tackle those quick? He says, I've been working on picking up Syndra. It's kind of an infinite skill ceiling project. Let me try this again. Syndra is kind of an infinite skill ceiling projectile type champion.
Project type,
Was he talking like actually project type or projectile?
like
type?
an actual project, like
Okay,
something that
like-
he's been
yeah,
working, just
like
something that
building
he's
a
been working
shed.
on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that because her Q doesn't have a cast time, I tend to creep forward in team fights when I'm stacking my balls to the point that I'm right in the mosh pit when I'm ready to ult someone. Generally, this ends bad for me. God damn it! I should not have had this many margaritas tonight. Advice.
Advice.
Drink more margaritas.
That's a good
yes. Then you won't care if you are in the mosh pit.
I mean,
Play
if you're
around.
aware of the problem,
one. It
I
should be
think
easier to
that's-
fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the first step is admitting you have a problem with margaritas. Sticky
True.
notes help. It's like, don't mosh pit with Syndra.
Have you ever played Syndra, Thalion?
Yes, I've played her a few. I haven't played her in a while, but I've played her a few times. Yeah.
I actually started picking her up a few days ago. And I can say that you are probably starting to play Cinder at the best time possible, if you're doing it right now, still after however many weeks. She's becoming really good right now, thanks to meta changes. But I can say two things from what I've seen. First of all, Syndra doesn't necessarily want to team fight. She wants to
she's
kill
pick.
somebody
She's a
and
pick.
Yeah.
Team fights, your Victors, your Anivias, your Malzahars are going to do more.
Yeah.
She's one of the few champions that can stun someone in the fog of war.
Yep.
With her E.
I will say, though, if you do find yourself having to fight, try just throwing in an auto attack between every ball. So you're not moving during that time.
That's just
Well, I mean,
one of the things you should be doing in
Yeah, I
general
mean-
is weaving auto attacks in between your spell casts.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, so the ball cooldown is actually a little, like, if you auto attack, it'll delay your spell cast by a tiny bit, thanks to how short the cooldown is.
Uh-huh.
But it's better than getting the cooldown as, like, minimum time and walking forwards. If you have to auto attack to keep yourself back, just do it.
Yeah.
How often as Syndra do you really actually want to hit someone with the Q part? I feel like most of the time you should be
well-
behind the tanks and like trying to hit the QE.
Q just does
mean,
a lot of damage.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, you should be landing
late
your...
game. Q is actually very, very, very powerful because
Well, yeah,
they still
but
have
the
the-
first Q,
I haven't.
you want to hit
I
someone
haven't-
with the first Q?
Q doesn't stack in damage. Like, Q is a flat. It's the ult
Well, I
that
meant,
stacks.
Like
The cooldown's
next
so low,
one.
you're probably getting
that's
several
what he
off.
meant.
So you're
I mean-
throwing
like-
your QE, and then if they stun,
Yeah.
you follow up with another one. But like,
Optimally, like if you're able to engage with
If
the
you're-
stun, yeah. But
Yeah.
like I think
like
we're talking
how
more
often are
of
you
the
close
situation.
enough to hit someone with the Q? I feel like,
I mean,
Well, like-
it's going to be the tank.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, if you're
Hazards.
kind of like in the situation where a team fight breaks out, you're not the one to engage; it's the enemy team that starts it. Where do you need to be in the team fight? Because you can try to still get out of stun, but you're still kind of in the middle of everything as it's going on. And like the best thing I think you can really do is try to land your Qs and stay back until you have an opportunity to maybe use your ulti in the team fight. It may not come until later on or until someone tries to dive on you.
Yeah, you're right. The most important thing is Syndra is probably to keep space between you and the enemy team. So Actually, one thing people forget is that you don't have to hit somebody with a ball for your knock away to actually knock them away.
If you just hit
Uh-huh.
him with a knock away,
Yeah.
it'll send him flying.
So, yeah.
Yep.
If you
it's
have
not,
it
it's
up
not
in
like a
team fight-
ton, to be fair.
I mean, it's a significant amount.
Yeah.
It's gotten me away from things
It's enough.
multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Saved his life. No, but
But-
she does a really good job at playing zone control in
Yeah.
team fights. From at least when I back when I played her, because the slow gets the ball in place and you land the stun and you hit like 3 people with it, and you've went team fights based off of that. Like it's
Uh-huh.
not reliable enough, but it's a great tool to use in a team fight. I will say so.
All right.
And you also don't have to be spamming Q is the other thing. If you stun the carry and then hit them with a like minion or a ball from your W, that's enough to do half their health in just like one spell. And if you have to, you can just walk around waiting for it to come up again. It's not a good idea, but it's better than dying.
Yeah. Okay. So last question he's got in here. As you mentioned earlier, I mean mid and AD carry. So when you're AD carry, you take AD runes. When you're mid, you don't normally take AD runes. He says, this causes my CSing to suffer quite a bit when I'm bouncing between the two roles. Any pointers to maintain a comparable CS in this situation?
Sometimes I
savagery.
just I'll stare at my actual auto attack,
And
like my attack damage. Like, how much attack damage do I do again? Oh, 57. That's
Not much.
less.
yeah.
And then I'll like target a minion to see where that is.
Mhm.
Like, I'll watch their health. I'm like, all right, now, just to get a sense of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just suck at CSing. So
I mean, yeah, throughout the game, it's a good idea to throw out autos just to gauge damage.
Right. But like, I think most of it just comes down to really practice, especially like if you're in the mid lane. First, second wave, it doesn't come down. You are mostly just last hitting with auto attacks, but throughout the rest of the laning phase, you're landing a lot of your CS with your spells as well. Like if you're playing Syndra again, you use your Q and other abilities quite a bit when you're trying to CS, or not to finish them off anyways.
Yeah. I mean, Syndra, after 7 minutes, 9 if she is behind, can wave clear the back line with 2 spells without auto-attacking.
Hmm.
Like, for the rest of the game.
So I mean, you don't have to worry about it too much. If you want to try to make sure you're keeping up your CS, there's also like Raptor camps and stuff like that you can take, especially the small ones. Like make sure you just get the 3 small ones and call it a day. Piss off your jungler or the enemy jungler a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to use spells.
Yeah, the spells are your friends, and like you say in the question, you don't have time to load up a custom game, but before you get started for the night, just spend 5 minutes in a custom game loading up without any AD runes. It's not something that has
Simple
to
as
take
that.
like a long time to do. Like if you do that every time you log on every day, you'll see your CSing get a lot better. Last hitting.
It also
Get
helps
better.
if you one-trick.
True.
Shameless
Yeah.
plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
To
Hard
be fair, it
hard
does.
to one trick as a mid ADC unless you're playing like
Just play Corky.
quid
Castle.
mid, quid
No,
ADC all the time.
Like if
Yeah.
what would the
Basically.
strongest mid AD carry be?
Ezreal.
Corky?
No, Varus.
Not Ezreal. Fuck you.
Varus.
I love
Ezreal.
I
Ezreal.
love-
What are you
I love-
talking
I
about?
love
Ezreal's
Ezreal,
top
but
3
no.
right now.
No.
Top 3 AD right now. Why would you not flex him mid?
No.
It's Varus.
Varus.
No, because
Jhin.
Varus is a standard auto attack damage dealer. I mean, you could
Have
play
you
him in
seen that Q?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could play. Okay, I understand you can play him out of the
Auto-attack my
poke roll,
ass.
but I'm talking like straight up auto attack dealing damage AD carry,
No.
not Varus.
I kind of want to play Lucian mid, to be honest.
Yeah, he's been a staple
That-
for mid AD carries.
Better than top.
Shout out to Hooney.
Poor Hooney. We hope you found your untilt machine.
No safest.
Are we
no
ever
threat is
going to
safe.
have an episode where we don't mention that?
It's only
well,
been
we're
2
two
so
for
far.
2, so
Yeah, we
Probably
got a
next
long
week.
ways. We'll find out. It'll just be our new like Lux thing.
Lucian top? Yeah.
Yeah.
Top.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we got for this week here. So thanks everyone for listening this week. And we'll see you again next week for more adventures in 4 wards in Top Lane Lucian. Bye-bye.
See
Bye.
you guys.